So, welcome and thank you for listening. Let me describe an experience. And if this is you, I want you to know you're not broken, you're not lazy, and you're not alone. You are exhausted, but it is not normal tired. It is a bone deep, cannot recover, everything is too much kind of exhausted. Sleep does not fix it, weekends do not fix it, and that holiday you took did not fix it either. You have tried the advice, you have downloaded the apps, you have made the lists, brought the planners, attempted the routines, and somehow you're more exhausted than before you started. So, if you have ADHD, either diagnosed, self identified, or suspecting, you may recognize this particular flavor of burnout. The kind where your brain can hyper focus for 6 hours on something interesting but cannot make a phone call. The kind where you have 47 browser tabs open and you are somehow working on none of them. The kind where you oscillate between doing everything at once and being completely unable to do anything at all. The kind where someone says, just break it into smaller steps, and you want to explain that problem is not the size of the steps. The problem is that your brain has left the building and is now thinking about that weird thing someone said to you in 2003. So, if this is you, welcome. This session is for you. Today, I want to explore ADHD burnout, what it actually is, why it is different from regular burnout, what is happening in your nervous system, and most importantly, why nothing has worked and what might actually help. I am not here to diagnose or treat ADHD. This is not my role, my profession, or my training. I am a nervous system specialist, holistic practitioner, somatic therapist, and ADHD is fundamentally a nervous system that is wired differently. So, I am just here to speak to the nervous system piece, the regulation, the dysregulation, the exhaustion, and the recovery. And I speak to you not as someone who is broken, but just as someone whose brain works differently in a world that was not designed for you. And I'll say this again, you're just someone whose brain works differently in a world that was not designed for you. So let me be clear about something. ADHD burnout is not the same as a regular burnout. And understanding this difference might explain why everything you have tried has not worked. So, regular burnout follows a predictable pattern. You overwork, you get stressed, you get exhausted, you rest and you recover. So, the solution is relatively straightforward. Reduce the load, increase the rest. But ADHD burnout is different. It is not just about overwork. It is about the invisible extra effort your brain has to expend just to function in a neurotypical world. So, recent research, and by recent I mean 2024, has found that people with ADHD have to exert more cognitive effort for tasks that feel automatic to others. Not because you're less capable, but because your brain's reward and motivation systems work differently. What pulls focus naturally for a neurotypical brain may require enormous conscious effort for yours. So, this is what I call the effort tax. You are not just doing the task, you're also forcing yourself to do the task. You are regulating the emotions that come with forcing yourself. You are managing the boredom, the frustration, the shame. You're monitoring yourself to stay on track. And you're doing 5 jobs at once, and only one of them is visible. So no wonder you're exhausted. And then there is masking. The energy spent hiding how your brain actually works. Pretending to focus in meetings where your mind is elsewhere. Nodding along where you have lost track of the conversation. Suppressing the impulse to move, to speak, to respond. Managing other people's perception of you. Now, studies also show that people with ADHD engage in significantly more daily masking than neurotypical people. And this is not a small thing. Masking is cognitively and emotionally expensive. It is like running a background script that never closes, constantly draining your battery. And here is the thing about ADHD burnout. It compounds. Because when you are burnt out, your executive function gets worse, which makes everything harder, which burns you out more, which makes executive function worse. So it's a cycle that feeds itself. This is why just rest does not work the same way. Because you're not recovering from overwork. You're trying to recover while your nervous system is stuck in a stress response and your brain is fighting itself. So, let us talk about what is actually happening in your body. Because this is where it gets really interesting and really validating. Research shows that people with ADHD often have nervous systems that run in chronic hyperarousal, elevated cortisol, the stress hormone, and lower rate variability, heart rate variability, which is a marker of nervous system flexibility. So let's simplify the language a little bit. What it means in plain language is your body struggles to shift from stress back to calm. It is like having an accelerator that is very responsive, but the brakes are sluggish. So you rev up very easily, coming down is hard. So the amygdala, which is the brain's alarm system, tends to be very overactive in ADHD. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, which normally calms the alarm down, has trouble keeping it in check. So your body can be in a low-grade stress response all the time, even when nothing is wrong. Not because you're anxious, because your nervous system's baseline is already elevated. And then there is also sleep. Studies show people with ADHD are about 8 times more likely to have sleep difficulties. 8 times. So, you are trying to recover from burnout on a nervous system that is already stressed with sleep that does not restore you. It is like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. So, there is a term that I find very useful: the interest-based nervous system. So, neurotypical nervous systems can engage with tasks because they are important or necessary, and that makes sense. ADHD nervous systems tend to engage on interest, urgency, novelty, or challenge. So, this is not a character flaw. It is how your brain's motivation and reward systems are wired. But it also means you cannot just make yourself do boring, necessary things the way others can. Because your neural pathway is literally different. Why does all this matter? Understanding this matters because it might explain why willpower-based approaches fail. You are not failing because you're not trying hard enough. You're failing because the advice assumes a brain that works differently from yours. So, now I want to go somewhere tender, because ADHD burnout is not just about the brain, it is about the story you've been told about your brain. So, if you do have ADHD, you might have grown up hearing some version of these messages. You're lazy. You're not trying hard enough. You have so much potential if you would only apply yourself. Why can you focus on video games, not on homework? You're too much. You're too intense. You're too sensitive. You're too loud. You need to calm down. You need to try harder. You need to be different than you are. So, these messages did not just bounce off you. They got inside. They became your own inner voice. And now, years, months, decades later, the voice might still be running, often louder than ever. Research calls it the shame load, the chronic accumulated shame of being told over and over in 1,000 small ways that your brain is wrong, that you are failing. Everyone else can do this thing, why cannot you? This shame is exhausting. There is a constant background drain, and it compounds burnout because shame activates the nervous system. It is a threat response. So not only are you burnt out, you're also fighting your own shame about being burnt out. I want to speak directly to the child you once were. The one who tried so hard. The one who worked twice as hard to get half the results. The one who got in trouble for things they could not control. The one who learned to mask, to hide, to pretend to be normal. That child was not broken. That child was doing their best in a world that did not understand how their brain worked. And guess what? That child is still there, still trying so hard, and still wondering why it is never enough. Part of healing from ADHD burnout is not just nervous system work, it is also tending to that child. It's finally saying, there's nothing wrong with you. Your brain is different, not defective. Different, not defective. So, let's talk about now why everything you have tried has not worked. Because it probably was not your fault. Most wellness advice assumes a neurotypical brain. It also assumes you can sustain attention on your breath. It also assumes you can follow a routine. It also assumes that if you just break things into smaller steps, you will be able to do them. It assumes that rest looks like stillness for all of us. For ADHD brains, these assumptions are wrong, or often wrong. Let's take meditation as an example. The standard advice: sit still, close your eyes, focus on your breath, observe your thoughts without engaging. And for ADHD brains, this can be like being told to simply observe a rave. Your thoughts are not gently floating like the clouds, they are having a party. And yes, they invited everyone you've ever met, and also that thing you said wrong 20 years ago. So, traditional stillness-based meditation can actually be dysregulating for ADHD. Not calming, but agitating. Because your body needs movement to regulate, and you're telling it to be still. Or breath work. The answer to everything nowadays Slow, deep breathing works for many people. But for ADHD nervous systems, slow breathing that feels forced can increase anxiety. The body starts to feel trapped and controlled, and instead of calming down, it revs up. Or the advice to build a routine, which is great, except ADHD brains often have a complicated relationship with routine. The novelty wears off. The structure starts to feel like a cage, and you follow it for 3 days and then abandon it completely, and now you have more evidence that you're a failure. Or self-care. Take a bath, do a face mask, and journal, which assumes you can transition into relaxation mode, that you can settle, that your brain will not use bath time to catalog every mistake you've made since 2012. So, here is a permission I want to give you, and you don't need my permission, you're an adult. If standard advice has not worked, it is not because you have not tried hard enough. It is because it was not designed for your brain. You need ADHD adapted approaches, and they exist. So, what actually helps? Let me share some principles that tend to work better for ADHD nervous systems. First, movement. ADHD nervous systems often regulate through movement, not through stillness. Walking, bouncing, rocking, pacing. These are not signs of inability to calm down. They are actually your body's ways of calming down. If you feel better while moving, if you feel calmer after exercise, if sitting still makes you feel worse, please honor that, because your body is telling you what it needs. Second, shorter bursts. Sustained attention is not your strength. That is okay. Let's work with it instead of against it. Short practices, short focus sessions, built-in breaks, permission to shift and change. Third, novelty and variety. Your brain lights up to newness. So do not try to use the same practice every day forever. Rotate, change it up, and let practices be fresh. And fourth, work with dysregulation, not against it. If you're feeling activated, trying to force calm can backfire. So sometimes you need to discharge the energy. Shake, move, make a noise, and then settle down. And fifth is external structure. So ADHD brains often do better with external cues than internal willpower. So timers, alarms, accountability, body doubling. Not because you're weak, but because your working memory and time perception work differently. And most important, self-compassion. The shame makes everything worse. Learning to speak to yourself with kindness, not in a fake positive way, but in a genuinely understanding way, can interrupt the shame cycle that compounds burnout. You're not failing. You are running a different operating system and trying to use a software that was not designed for it. So, I want to be clear. ADHD burnout is not permanent. Recovery is possible. It just looks different than recovery from a regular burnout. Recovery looks like understanding your nervous system and working with it instead of against it. It looks like learning what actually regulates you, not what is supposed to regulate you. It looks like building in more rest than you think you need because your battery drains faster. It looks like reducing mass where you can, finding places and people where you can be yourself. It looks like addressing the shame, tending to the inner child who internalized all those messages, and learning a new story about who you are. Not broken, but different. It also looks like getting support from professionals who understand ADHD, from communities who get it, and from practices that are designed for your brain, not against it. Now, in a moment, I am going to guide you through a practice specifically designed for ADHD nervous systems. Movement is allowed, eyes open is fine. Fidgeting is very welcome. You will work with your brain, not against it. Find a position that feels okay for you. Sitting is fine. Lying down is fine. Standing is fine. Whatever works for you. And you can keep your eyes open or you can close them. There is no right way to do this. Before we begin, permission. You can move during this practice. You can shift, adjust, rock, bounce your leg. Movement is very welcome. You can keep your eyes open if closed feels uncomfortable. You can let your attention wander and come back. This is how this works. There is no way to do this wrong. Let us start with the body. Not the breath, just the body. Feel your feet now. The floor beneath them. The pressure. The texture. If you want, push your feet into the floor a little and feel the ground push back. Now your hands. Where are they? What are they touching? Notice the temperature and the sensation. Now squeeze your hands into fists for a moment. Then release. Good. You are here in a body on the ground. Now if you want to let your body move a little, roll your shoulders, shake your hands, shift your weight, whatever feels right for you. ADHD bodies often need to move to settle. This is not a problem, this is regulation. Now take a breath. Not a special breath, just a breath. Now, just for a moment, I want you to acknowledge something. Your brain works hard. harder than most people realize? Just to do ordinary things, you are expending extraordinary effort. And you have probably never been thanked for it. You've probably been told you're not trying hard enough. Let me say this to you now. You are not lazy. You are exhausted from trying so hard. There is nothing wrong with your brain. Let this land somewhere in your body. See if it finds a place to rest. Hmm. Now gently call to mind the child you once were. The one who tried so hard. The one who got in trouble for things they could not help. The one who wondered why everything was so hard for them when it seemed easy for everyone else. That child is still somewhere, still trying, still wondering if they are enough. If you can now, say silently to that child, you are not broken. You never were. Your brain works differently. This is not a flaw. I see how hard you tried. I see how hard you are still trying. And now, just for a moment, let yourself not try. Let go of the effort, the pushing, the forcing, the performing. You do not have to mask right now. You do not have to be anything. Let your face relax. Let your shoulders drop if they want to. If you need to move, please move. If you need to make a sound, make a sound. If you need to open your eyes, open them. If you need to close your eyes, close them. You're allowed to just be. This is you unmasked. This is your nervous system allowed to just be. Your nervous system has been working so hard, running in high gear and trying to keep up. It does not know how to rest because the world has never given it permission to. So let this moment be permission for you. You can rest now. You do not have to be anything. The world can wait. You can rest now. You do not have to be anything. The world can wait. Feel what happens in your body when you hear those words. Even a tiny shift, even a small softening. Now try something. Put a hand somewhere on your body, your chest, your belly, or your arm, wherever feels right. Feel the warmth of your own hand, the pressure, and the contact. This is you offering kindness to yourself, not from a place of fixing, but from a place of understanding. Now say this silently. I am doing my best. My best is enough. I deserve rest. I am doing my best. My best is enough. I deserve rest. Now, let your body move one more time, wherever it wants. Shake your hands, roll your neck, stretch, stamp your feet gently. Let movement help your nervous system know we are finishing, we are transitioning. And now, gently come back to the room. Feel the space around you. Feel your body, all of it, here. And take a breath when you're ready. And if your eyes were closed, you can let them open. And welcome back. You have just done something important. You have given your nervous system, your ADHD nervous system, a moment of permission. Permission to rest, permission to move, permission to be exactly what it is. This is not a cure. ADHD burnout takes time to recover from, but moments like this, moments of regulation, self-compassion, of working with your brain instead of against it, they add up. As you move through life, please remember, you're not lazy. You are exhausted from trying so hard in a world that was not designed for your brain. Standard advice may not work for you. And this is not a personal failure. This is a design flaw in the advice. Your nervous system might need movement to regulate. It might need variety, novelty, shorter bursts. Honor that. Work with it. And above all, speak kindly to yourself. Because the shame makes everything worse. Kindness makes everything possible. You have a brain that works differently, not broken, different. And there is a way to live with that brain that is not exhausting, that is not a constant struggle, and that leaves room for rest and even joy. Finding that takes time, but it's possible, and you deserve to find it. So, go gently, move if you need to, rest when you can. Thank you for being here, thank you for joining me, and namaste.